1962, I was living in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I belonged in the laborers union. And my brother was living, one of my older brothers was living in Oregon, and he was working on the John Day Bridge up in Oregon.
What river was that on?
It was on the John Day River where it flows into the Columbia River, and there's a big dam there called the John Day Dam. But he was working on the bridge, and he was the boss of it, and he said, I can make you a carpenter if you come out. So I goes out, and he gets me in the carpenters union, and I've been a carpenter ever since. I worked on that bridge, and I worked on bridges for about 4 or 5 years then after that. Worked a lot harder. I believe we did. Maybe that was just my imagination. I don't know.
So how so?
We did a lot of handwork, you know, like we packed big heavy 6x16s, 20 feet long, 2 men on each end with some big hooks, you know, and we'd walk them out and set them up and build our forms on top of them. Today they got cranes for such things. It wasn't as safe as what they are today. Today you'd had safety ropes and everything else connected to you. Then you just walked real careful. But it was kind of funny. We were working over the edge and on the edge, and I was putting these forms up. And my brother said, make sure you go around quite a few of them Nelson lugs, because he said if some of them are known to break once in a while. So I'd throw that thing around 2 or 3 of them, you know. And one day I was out there working, and one of them broke, just one of them, and I dropped, you know, about 6 inches, you know, and it just scared the liver out of me. And so from that time forward, boy, I went around all I could get. Yeah. That was Hell's Canyon Dam, and I was probably 26 years old or so. But they needed somebody to go down into a hole and do some work there, you know, and you had to go down on a rope to do it. And nobody really volunteered, and I needed a job, you know, and I had 2 kids already. So I said, I'll do it, you know. So I went down there, and I had to come back up going hand over hand, you know, because I didn't know how to work the ropes. But I soon learned. I learned how to work the ropes, and I worked right on the face of the dam, where you'd be tied off with a rope, and you could kick your feet away from the dam, and you could land over 10 feet either side, you know. And it was a long ways down there. It was fun. I enjoyed it. In 1976, and I moved to a little town called Milton Freewater up by Pendleton, Oregon. And at that time, I went to work in a prison. I kind of tell everybody that I served my time in prison, but I spent about 5 years there. But I was working, and they let me out every night. But I was just a worker there, a journeyman carpenter. And I got to tell you this one story. I think I told you there that one time, but we got through remodeling this prison, and we made it into a maximum security, and they had to take the prisoners out because they started escaping one night. And so we had to go back in there and do some remodel work, me and my partner. And they had guards with us all the time. And the guard would go inside and take the prisoner out, and then we'd do our work to that one cell and keep on it going. But this one particular night, it probably midnight or so, and my partner, he's inside, and I'm outside, and I knock on the little door there and say, Ray, are you ready? And he'd say, yes, I'm ready, you know. But I knocked there, and somebody else answered, and I knew it wasn't Ray. But anyway, he said, just hand in your tools. He said, I'm ready, you know. And I said, well, do you know the password? We didn't have no password. But I asked him, no, he says, it's right on the tip of my tongue, he said. But he says, just hand in your tools. So, but I didn't do it. So anyway, he admitted to me who he was, you know. He says, just talk to me. He says, I'm locked up for 23 hours a day. And so I said, I don't know anything much to say, but I'll sing you a song. And so this is a song I sang. Oh, if I had the wings of an angel, for it's o'er these prison walls I'd fly. For I'd fly to the arms of my loved one, and there I'd be willing to die. And he just broke down then, you know. He just, we talked, and then pretty quick my partner come in, and he did get to see him or anything, you know, but I think back on it every once in a while and wonder if he ever remembers that, you know. He's probably out of prison and living a good life now. That's what I'm hoping he is. Right. So anyway, that was the end of that. I stayed around Milton Freewater there till till 1986. I moved there in 76 and I left in 86. But the union work had all just played out. The highway bridges was kind of done, and the thing up at Pasco.
I've heard other people say about you that you are really supportive and you mentor and teach the apprentices on the jobs and stuff like that.
Yes. I always enjoy working with I always like the young people, but I especially like working with the young apprentices. I worked for one of my friends over the hill, and when they were building that big solar factory over there, and he let me work with a different apprentice every 2 weeks. And in fact, I got my name in the Carpenters magazine at that time. I've got it out in the garage. I could show it to you. That I was working with an apprentice, and that was quite a thrill for me just to be able to work with apprentices. And then I'd always kind of give them a tool or something, or something. I'd give them a tool, and I'd say, "You got to promise me that you'll work till you're 80, so I can," because it takes 10 people to pay the Social Security in for one person, and you got to promise me you'll work till you're 80. And they'd say, "Okay, Fred, I'll do it." And I'd give them a saw or a hammer or something, just to kind of pick on them. I don't expect them to do that, but the world is filled with young people. We all need to kind of set an example and do the best we can, because we got to prepare the path behind us, so they know where to go.